GTL are back in business and we're on the hard courts of Canada for Toronto, for Montreal, the men's and women's events, Masters 1000s, and they last 2 weeks now. Not many people like it. We're going to be discussing that. And of course, the sensation from Canada, Mboko, who's looking very good right now. On the men's, Alex de Minaur, he's looking great. We're going to speak about it. It's Game to Love, and we're back.
We are back. Finally, another podcast for everybody who's been waiting for it. JG, nice to have you back in the land of the tennis world. And are you still celebrating Leylah Fernandez's victory from Washington? We haven't heard your thoughts on that, so maybe we'll start there first. Give us your thoughts on Leylah Fernandez and a fantastic week in Washington.
I've got her inside my top 10 for a reason. I think she's a fantastic player with a lot of potential. She's not lived up to that potential after that US Open final loss to Raducanu. We've seen moments from her. She performs best on a hard court. But the start of this tournament, she went out in the opening round after winning the last event. I'm, of course, very pleased for her. It highlights to me the whole debate we had, how she's going to be more successful than Raducanu post the US Open. She's won another event. Raducanu is still struggling to even get into finals right now. So pleased for many reasons. And hopefully she can push on and have a fantastic US Open, because I would put her up there as a top 10 player, top 10 contender for the US Open.
Well, if she plays like the way she did in Washington, then she definitely has a chance. It was shades of that US Open 2021 when she just was fighting tooth and nail every single match, winning them in dramatic fashion as well. Who wins a match against Rybakina on hard court and wins it over tie breaks? 3 of them, 3 hours, 12 minutes. That one for me was the most impressive of the lot. But yeah, we're not here to talk about last week. We will speak a little bit about it towards, I'd say, the middle, because we got Alex de Minaur in hot form still. And obviously he was a winner last week too. Where should we start, though, on this tournament? Because we've got obviously Toronto running, we've got Montreal running, and we're nearly at the quarterfinal stage. We've got a few matches that are still playing right now, a couple more still to be played overnight in the UK. I think Iga's just on at the moment. But maybe we do start with the young sensation from Canada. As we are in Canada, I know that Matchpoint Canada are probably raving about her right now, and that is Mboko. And I've got a fly trying to go in my face at the same time. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
So put it up on the screen and we'll speak about her, because she is a sensation, like you say, only 18 years old, defeating Coco Gauff. I don't know if you want to go through her route.
Yeah, I can do. Let me just bring up her route. Just 1 second. Mboko.
I mean, I can read this one while you're doing it. So Mboko becomes the first player born in a year more recent than Coco Gauff, 2004, to defeat her at professional level. We've kind of seen it coming. She's been around this last year, and we've seen glimpses of her playing very well. I forget what tournament it was now, but I remember seeing her thinking, oh, she's pretty dangerous.
French Open,
was it? Yeah, French Open. I think she did very well, didn't she? She went through a few rounds there. Wimbledon wasn't terrible either. But this tournament, she's gone on. She's beaten Birol, Kenin, Balskova, and now Coco Gauff. The Coco Gauff one being the real announcing of the name. And she is a future star, I believe, in the making. Someone who's very young, like Amira Andreeva, like Coco Gauff was as well. And there's another one in contention, I think, on the WTA. It's made it a little bit more open. Still so much room for improvement. She's still very immature in the way she plays, in the sense she needs to learn so much. Her decision making, everything will become better, but she's got a lot of power and can certainly be very dangerous. It's not easy to beat Coco Gauff. And as you can see, the second youngest player, the second younger than Gauff defeat after Sneijder, the second teenager to defeat Gauff at WTA level after Iga in Rome.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that should be noted about this tournament as well is when you get to the big stage, it's sometimes too much for some players. Like especially when you're playing in front of the home faithful, you've got all that pressure. Everyone's expecting something from you because you're sort of the young rising talent. Canada don't have that much other than Leylah Fernandez to cheer about at the moment. So her inserting herself into the scene as well is just going to be great for Canadian tennis. I know that Chapeau's not been looking great recently. Felix neither on the men's side. But we do have Diallo, though, from Canada, and he's sort of stepped up on the men's side. He seems to be more of a main fixture in the tennis world at the moment than the other two. But yeah, I think that's the one thing which I've been most impressed with from her is she's been able to do it, and she hasn't looked nervous in any of these performances. She's come out that she beat Gauff so comfortably. I mean, 6-1, 6-4. That's like a statement from somebody.
And that's
Bear in mind,
her first top 10 win as well.
it's incredible. Like considering, I know that people will say, "Yeah, but you haven't beaten like the creme de la creme, Coco Gauff, the one that wins the slams." Yeah, but we don't get that all the time with Coco. She's still young. She's still having a lot of ups and downs, especially with the serve. I mean, this tournament's been, I'm not going to dress it up anyway, terrible. Coco Gauff serve, she needs to do something. I don't know how many double faults. 42, I think she hit in this tournament in the first three game. I mean, it's just too many. You can't be serving that many double faults and expect to win tennis matches. I don't know how she won the first two, to be honest. She won them in 3 sets, playing not great tennis. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, on the other side of the spectrum, you've got Rybakina as the tour leader for aces. I think she's passed 300 now this year, and she's
Wow.
looking very good for this tournament. I would make her maybe one of the favourites. But this tournament is dragging on. It really is, because we have 2 weeks of Masters events mirroring the Grand Slams. And there's a lot of people speaking about it, saying it's too much, it's dragging it out. We've got a tweet here saying, surely the 2-week Masters series are done after this year. It feels like Toronto's been on for ages, and yet we aren't even at the quarterfinals. Masters series are supposed to be quick, fun, and packed with great matches every day. It's such a drag for fans and players. What's your thoughts on the 2-week Masters events?
I sort of agree, to be honest. Especially this one. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, and people from Canada are going to hate me saying it, but I don't. It's not so much about the Canadian tournament. It's about where it's positioned in the calendar. And I think once you've just had Wimbledon, no one really wants this like Masters event straight away. I mean, I don't mind one. I think you could have like this one or a Cincinnati, but I think in the position where Cincinnati is probably a better time for it. So maybe if you could have just one of them running over 2 weeks. I don't know, but having two, because we're going to have Cincinnati soon as well. I don't know if that one, they're going to get it done in any quicker time. And then you've got the US Open pretty much right round the corner. I would like it if they were quicker, to be honest. I think that the players would love it, fans would love it. I don't see any reason why they couldn't do it. But they, like you say, they seem to be like stretching it out a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's gone on from the 26th of July all the way through to the 7th of August. And when you've got a tennis calendar which is already pretty packed out without much space, with players complaining about how long it is and injuries and other problems, the last thing you need is elongated Masters events what last 2 weeks. I don't think it's good for the television. I don't think it's good for the fans. It's probably not good for the players either. You could say it might help them because they've got a few more days of recovery in between. But I just think it's not a good thing for the sport in any sense of the idea. And I'm completely against them. And especially right now when you've got the top 3 players missing in, you could maybe say the top 4 if you want to include Draper as well on the men's. They're not playing these events. And I feel it's highlighted even more because it's 2 weeks. If it wasn't 2 weeks, you wouldn't notice it so much. And all it's doing, I think, is devaluing tennis and the high level of competition. Because as much as everyone's saying, and I think you've been very critical off stream about how when them players aren't there, you've said maybe it's not so interesting. The reason I disagree with that is because I genuinely think the level of tennis in the lower levels, sort of between, I don't know, 5 to 50, is the highest it's ever been. And there's so many top players within that category. And I'm still interested to see the likes of a Darderi go well and do well at a tournament like he has done. But I think from the more passive neutral fan, or the one who doesn't watch so much, just watching Grand Slams, if they flick over to Sky Sports Tennis, because it's on mainstream TV, and they catch a match which is going on, and you've got 2 weeks of the same event without knowing who's won it, I think it's a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe people struggle to maintain concentration these days, as we've seen with the TikTok and Reels, and watching 2 weeks of a tennis tournament 4 times a year is sometimes quite challenging for some people. But to
Grand
add
Slams are
in,
different. Grand Slams,
yeah,
you've got the best players, and it's at the biggest stage.
well,
It's usually at an iconic venue where
yeah.
you're always going to sell out tickets because it's a Grand Slam. It's well
Well, this is the
known.
tennis tour's fault though, then, because they don't really because that's what a lot of players on the tour say. It's like they don't really promote enough these other tournaments, because a lot, if you ask someone on the street, you go up to them and just say, what are the tennis tournaments around, like the whole tennis like tour end of the year, they'd just say, oh, they've got Wimbledon. That would be what they'll say in England straight away. And then I'll roll on one in Paris, and then they'll say, oh, there's the America one and then the Australian one. They probably don't realize every single week that there's a tennis tournament going on. There's Masters events multiple times a year, which they're huge, really, for tennis players. And they don't really get marketed in the way to get new people into the sport. I think that's the one thing. Slams always do, because people know about them already. But Masters events, they could do with a little bit more promotion. And then maybe you'd get people actually getting behind some of these newer players, because I think with this format, you do get a lot of new players can come through in a Masters like this one, because you've got so many players in the draw. So it gives more like lower ranked like opponents, they get the chance to step into the first round of a big Masters for a change. You get some like random wild cards from that country. It can be exciting, but then again, you do get players missing as well. And when you don't have the best 3 players on the men's tour at an event, and then Jack Draper as well, I mean, Alcaraz and Sinner are by far the best 2 players on the men's tour by far. And like, obviously Djokovic, you'd have to say he probably challenges Alcaraz probably more than he does Sinner. But those two, the 2 youngsters alone, they're miles above everybody else right now. And taking them out of the tournaments, it just like you're playing second fiddle, it seems. It's just like, oh, what competition are we playing for while they're not here and they're off? So it's like they're giving everyone else an opportunity to win something.
Yeah, I still think it's very interesting though, because there's so many
Still is
top players. And
interesting.
let's move over to the men's, because we've been speaking about the women's. There's a lot of storage to go through on the men's, and I'm going
Sure.
to stick with my theme of talking
Okay.
about the 1 to 50. And the reason I'll do that is because if you go to the ATP live rankings, I
Okay.
don't know if you know this, but we have Lerner Tien, your wild card player for the year, in currently 55. He's almost breaking
Ooh.
inside the top 50. He lost in the round of 16. Who did he lose to again? Let me just get it up.
Mickelson.
Yep, that's right. Bit of a surprise. I thought he was going to win that match, I'll be honest.
Nah,
But
Mickelson's pretty
still, fantastic
solid.
tournament for him. And look how close he is to Joao Fonseca. He's only 3
Mm-hmm.
places below him. Fonseca losing in the opening round. And yeah, that's hotting up. But when you look at them players, Marazan, the player I love the most, you've got Fernley around there as well. There's so many top players. You've got Gal Monfils in 46. And that's just highlighting for me the strength of the men's tour right now. You have 1 to 60 really good players. Of course, there's a few in there which I think are going to drop out and we're never going to see again.
Maybe.
But on the whole, some top players. And just to give a bit of a summary, we're going to move up now a little bit. Daniel Medvedev, he's having a torrid year. He's really struggling. He's outside the top 10. Is that going to be him done for in the sense of, is he going to be able to get back inside the top 10? It's super competitive right now. There's a lot of hungry young players below him. You look at Felix, you look at Tsitsipas. Are they ever going to get back inside that top 10? I'm really not sure. You had Tsitsipas losing in the second round. Felix
O'Connell.
also losing in the second round. He should have beaten O'Connell. He had opportunities. I know Morgado was very, very critical of Tsitsipas in that match, and so was you.
Yeah, I just think it's a slippery slope right now for him. And I've seen him with a few quotes just on Twitter and stuff where he's good for social media. I think he's always been fairly interactive with fans and that type of thing, but needs to focus mainly on the tennis. I honestly don't know if his heart's still in it at the moment. I think maybe it will come back, but right now, this year, I've just seen a gradual decline, and I've not really seen anything to suggest. Obviously, we're going to rewind back to when he got that racket and when I got excited. But since he got that racket, he had probably a few good matches, and then after that tournament, he's been terrible. So it obviously wasn't the racket. It's the problem. It's what's upstairs. We know he's got ability, but he just needs to show the will, the fight. And I think that's the one thing that with him that you do sort of see that's a bit lacking compared to some of the others, is that real desire to run every ball down and just to really grind out a victory. I don't think he wants to grind out victories that much anymore. Used to. Not seen it in a while.
Well, let's be honest, Ben. Goran Ivanisevic, when he coached him for however long it was, not long, was horrified at the way Tsitsipas prepared for matches and the whole camp being involved in it.
There's a lot.
It didn't last very long, that relationship, and he didn't have many good things to say about working with Stefanos Tsitsipas. That shows everything you need to know, really, because I think I look at him as a real good coach, a model professional, someone who's worked with the very best in Novak Djokovic, and he did not see a professional player in Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's then returned with his dad now as the coach. That was only, I saw it online a few days ago.
Yeah.
I think it's just the beginning of the end. It's a slippery slope. Things aren't going to get better for him. But let's not keep talking about him. We'll move on to someone who I think things are looking good for. You've got Davidovich Fokina there, Popyrin, both at career highs, both playing fantastically well. It was sad to see Fokina retire today against Rublev. He's been having a really good few weeks. He was not bad in the tournament before as well. And
really good.
He's someone who I've always thought was maybe slightly better on the clay. But as he's getting older, I think maybe he's slightly better on the hard courts now.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player when he actually puts his mind to it. And he encapsulates the thing which I was just saying that Tsitsipas doesn't have right now, which is he will chase every single ball down. He will dive across the court. He will die on the court for hitting a shot. Whereas you don't really get to see that with some of the other players. And that's what's made him get to these finals and made him get deep in tournaments, beating big players. He's re-energized, it seems. And I thought it was very nice gesture from obviously the fellow finalist he lost to. It was Alex de Minaur, came and sat next to him on the bench after the victory for him and loss for Fokina, just to say like pretty much like, you're amazing, like what you're doing right now, you're the best you've ever been in your career right now, and something, if you keep going like that, something good's going to come along. And I thought he even said, there's nothing I can say that's going to make him feel any better. Just keep going, mate. Like, you're really playing well right now.
Yeah, and this is a really fitting change into speaking about de Minaur, because he's someone I could have done this whole episode on. He is the reason I wanted to do this podcast tonight with you, Ben, because Alex de Minaur has been fantastic these past few weeks. He's been the standout player when the big players are away. And I don't know which way to look at this in. And this is why I'm interested to hear what you have to say, or the people at home listening. Alex de Minaur, is he the best of the rest? And are we only seeing the real top level of him because the others aren't there? There seems to clearly still be a power issue when he plays against a Yannick Sinner, a Novak Djokovic, a Carlos Alcaraz. I've never felt like he can win any of their matches. I've watched him, and I just think there's never really there's moments against Djokovic he did all right at Wimbledon, and he looked quite in the set, but I never believed he could beat him. And I just don't think he can beat them players. And I don't know if he's ever going to be able to. But when they're not around, he is the best player, I think, out of everyone else. And I think even if you was to have a Jack Draper in this tournament, I still fancy Alex de Minaur. I think his defense is unbelievable. The point I saw from him yesterday was one of the best points of the year. He was playing, remind me, TFO was smashing them down proper hard. He come in on one of them, incredible. We know he's one of the fastest players on the tour. Djokovic said that he is the fastest player and a very big challenge because he's going to chase everything down and get there. He's so exciting to watch. Super, super competitive. Never gives up. Great mentality. Always improved his serve drastically. We know he's not the most powerful player, but that second serve's a lot better and dangerous. I just love watching him around the court. And the defensive play against TFO, on particularly that one point, is probably the point of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that he has that all of the others struggle with is, like you say, the recoverability, but I think it's just consistency. And that's the main thing you can say with anyone as a top tennis player. And that's where he does actually get into the positions to play people like Djokovic, Sinner, Alcaraz. He gets to those matches because he is as consistent as them. He just doesn't have quite the tools yet to be able to maneuver them around the court or just have his way with them, because that power is very, very definitive on a tennis court. If you are one of the smaller players, you are going to get bullied by some of these bigger players. And I thought against Djokovic, he played fantastic in that first set at Wimbledon. And if he was able to maintain that level for the whole match, who knows? But it's not played in one set, is it? It's played over 5 in a slam. But like you say, he is the best of the rest. I had him in my rankings as number 5 come the start of last year, or end of last year, rather, start of this year. That's where I was going, because I thought he is going to be the standout player other than the big players to come through. And he's really proven it. He's stepped up. I remember when we spoke to him at UTS in December, and that was the question I posed to him. I said, like, what are you going to add to your game to be able to beat someone like Jannik Sinner like next year? And he knows exactly what he's got to improve on. Everything is like methodical with him. And he's just nearly there. He's literally nearly there. I think that he's that close, but he just needs power.
He's never going to get over the line, though, Ben.
Is it mental as well, though? That's the other thing.
No, I don't think it is. I just don't think he can get over the line. I think he's reached a level, a ceiling. And this is where it's unfortunate because, and I've changed a lot of my opinions in tennis this last 5 months or so, this year pretty much. And what I mean by that is I no longer am so critical of players who struggle to beat the very best, because I view it as in a way of they're that good. And I just put more credit on the fact that you've got some insane players in Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, previously Nadal, previously Federer. And I know it may be a bit premature to put the likes of a Sinner and Alcaraz there, but I do truly believe they are as good as them guys. And when you have this kind of player, this kind of athlete in that kind of form, able to play at that level, then fair enough that you're going to lose. Alex de Minaur, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I don't think he is an elite, one of them top players. And I don't think, as much as he can work hard, do this, try and improve certain things, to actually make that next gap to become a superstar is very challenging. In football, you've got Messi, you've got Ronaldo, you make a case for Neymar, maybe Mbappe right now, but it's a handful of players. If them guys do something great, a defender can't really stop you. If Messi's running at you when he was in his prime with Barcelona, there's not much you can do. And I feel like that with a Jannik Sinner. I feel like that with a Carlos Alcaraz, certainly right now. So this is why I'm not really that critical of the opponent. Fair play. de Minaur's doing what he can do. He's trying to make him competitive. He's got to risk more, maybe try some different tactics. But it's on the racket of them elite players because they're just one of a kind.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to always remember is all of the tools that Alex de Minaur has, they have the exact same tools plus more. That's why that they're able to beat him.
They're maybe not as fast as him though.
Yeah, but they're not that far off. Look at Carlos. Look at Sinner. Look how quick they are. Djokovic, you can't say is as quick because he's obviously not anymore. But his flexibility is probably as good as anybody else up there. But yeah, the speed's going. By
the way, I think Sinner's quicker than Alcaraz now.
He's rapid. Like you see him.
You don't realise
when there's a drop shot. You see how quick those players are when there's a drop shot, and you see how quick Sinner gets to the net. He is fast, and so is Alcaraz as well. Alcaraz, it just looks more flamboyant, and it looks more like a show's going on. Sinner's just like boom, next shot, next shot. He just gets himself in the perfect position every time to hit the next shot. That's what you have to do.
I mean, we were watching the Wimbledon final in that garden in London. The sun was shining, and I was just watching it on the big screen with a beer in hand, thinking these guys are just another level. Like, there's so many moments just to sit there and applaud and think, well, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have anything critical to say about all these other players who are trying their best to try and beat that level of opponent.
Fair
up. Play to them
when they're away.
If you can go deep and get if you can go deep and get to a tie break or get to a 4 or 5, I think fair play. I tilt my hat to you.
Definitely, that's why. But when they're not on the tour and they're taking some time off, this is where you're going to see the best of the rest will come to the forefront. And Alex de Minaur seems to be that guy. Obviously, there's somebody else who seems to come to the forefront in Toronto. And it's Alexei Popyrin, who is last year's champion, and just seems to love it in Toronto. What's going on? He's like Gil Gross says here, this is an unreal title defense from Popyrin so far. Hadn't won back-to-back hardcourt matches all year and hadn't been to a hardcourt quarterfinal since Montreal last year. And now, look at him. He's back in the quarterfinals again. He's just beaten Holger Rune from a set down. In the round before that, he took out Daniil Medvedev in 3 sets. And then he took out, I don't know much about this player, but I don't know if this player winds you up or not just because of the name, but I'm sure it probably does because you're a West Ham fan. Arsenal, I don't know if I like that. And it's red and white as well, with the Canadian flag. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, he's definitely a gunner, but
he's a goner.
He was gunned down in this match because Popyrin finished him off. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. Popyrin just turning up in this tournament. He's not even had a very good year.
No,
he's had a few good moments, but I've seen better from him. I mean, losing to Ferry at Wimbledon, I remember seeing that one. We watched it. He didn't play very well. But yeah, I mean, it would be a crazy title charge. Of course, we're just in the quarterfinal stage. It's taken a long time to get there. We're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
They've really dragged this tournament out. And we will be talking about some predictions, I'm sure, because we're not giving any predictions. It's not really been game to love. Like, a lot's been happening. I can't really go through it all now. Some good, some not so good. But we will hopefully do some quarterfinal predictions at some point tomorrow. If we're unable to, we'll definitely do semi-final predictions.
Well, we can probably. We're not going to know all of the quarterfinals until the end. It's probably going to be in the morning UK time. We do have some quarterfinals that are lined up though, so we can look at them on the men's side. Zverev, somebody we haven't spoken about, but he's been sort of moving through the tournament. Beat Arnaldi, Walton, and Cerundolo withdrew, retired during the match against him in the last one, which is probably good for him because he's never beaten him before. I think he's classed as Zverev's daddy before this match, so that's probably good for him. And then we've got
with Zverev, he's been very kind all tournament. Everyone's been saying how much they've loved his sportsmanship and how he was sitting with Cerundolo and worried about him. And Zverev has helped. He's got a few good PR points, I think.
Well, he's been watching de Minaur probably. Knows how to do the right thing. We got Mickelson, obviously we spoke about him earlier, knocked out Lerner Tien, as well. We didn't speak about it just before. I know you brushed past it a little bit, how close he is to João Fonseca, your wild card for the year there. And how many points behind? Only, well, it's not many. 17 points. And
What
we're
do
on
you
the
mean we didn't
hard.
speak about? We spoke about that.
Yeah, not really. You sort of brushed past him a
Oh, I
little bit.
gave you the opportunity to. You just didn't
No,
open
you
up.
didn't. You just moved on up the rankings. I thought I'd bring it back to it at some point. But anyway, yeah, hard court swing right now. And the US Open coming up. I think Lerner will be quite happy with this. Hopefully, this is where he's going to finally make the push and overtake Fonseca in the rankings. And on the women's side, I think Polina Kudermetova, she's fallen off a cliff since about March. So hopefully Eva Jovic, the US Open coming up, we could be in for 2 out of 2. We don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to count my chickens before they've hatched.
Just as a reminder, Ben, you've lost every single Grand Slam prediction to me so far.
Well, I'm a bit more of a US Open guy. You know me. I've always been a big fan of the tournament where they shout out during points, and
Well,
yeah, it's all a
you've
bit more
lost
of a
6
right.
out of 6 so far this year. So let's see how you can get on these last 2.
Well, if I win both the wild cards, that will do for me. But the US Open, it's going to be a big one. I think that this is it might seal the deal, to be honest. It might just be the one. Just everyone remembers the last slam of the year more than the other ones.
I feel like the
So
US Open's always a bit more open than the others,
more
which I
exciting
guess,
sometimes as well.
yeah.
Good time for us as well. I like the timing of the US Open because when we
Yeah.
finish work, the matches start, and then as we wake up, there's more matches on.
Yeah, and that's when we do the podcast, right, in the morning.
Exactly. And as soon as they finish, then we jump on and do a podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were going through the quarterfinals. Sorry, before I got sidetracked back to Lerner in there. Mikkelsen, Hachanov, Minaur playing, not decided yet. Shelton or Kaboli. Ooh,
Shelton, I reckon, but it's
yeah.
Kaboli's class. That's a good match.
And then we got Rublev through, as we discussed, and he'll playing Fritz or Lehechka. Fritz, another player coming back to a bit of form again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good players in there, and as much as I'm bigging up Alex de Minaur, probably with the bookies, he's not the favourite from this position. People might be looking at like a Taylor Fritz or someone else.
Yeah.
But my money is on Alex de Minaur to win back to back. I think he's been that inspiring, and that I've been amazed by watching some of his play. Defensively, I think he'll have too much for. Is it Shelton next? Maybe if Shelton wins or Kaboli,
yeah.
And then he's on a bit with Zverev. But whoever it is, there's a lot of top players left in this tournament. It'll be a really tough test for de Minaur. He won't be the bookies' favourite, but he is who I'm tipping from here on out to win the tournament.
Okay, and just before we go, let's quickly speak about the women's. And obviously, we can't end this without speaking about Naomi Osaka. It looks like we have the real Naomi Osaka back, which is really exciting as well. I've watched some of her matches earlier in the tournament. It sounds weird, earlier in the tournament. She only played a couple of matches. But I thought the match against Samsonova, it was just... She was getting around the court so fast. And I've not seen that Naomi Osaka for so long. It was brilliant. And she just won today. What was it? 6-1, 6-love in her second quickest match. Sevastova, strange player. I mean, how she got through all that way and then just loses like that? It's very bizarre. I don't really get it. And she, I'll tell you, she beat before she played. She just knocked out Pagula in the round before. So that just goes to show. Sometimes just turns up. Sometimes didn't even have a chance. But to be fair, Osaka played incredibly well. Great direction on all of her shots. Makes tennis look easy sometimes.
Yeah, she's up to 34 in the world at the moment. If she wins the whole thing, she will be inside or close to the top 20, which is amazing for her.
Wow.
I don't think she is. And my money at the moment is on Jelena Rybakina. I think she's serving some aces. She's outside the top 10 as it stands. We need a big event from her, and I think we're going to get one.
It is very, very possible. Like Rybakina, she didn't have a bad event. It was only Leylah Fernandez that really managed to stop her. Otherwise, I reckon she would have probably gone on and won that last tournament in Washington. She's facing Kostyuk in the quarterfinals. And we've got Naomi Osaka will play Anisimova or Svitolina. Now we're really hotting up on the women's side. That'll be an exciting one. Whoever plays that one. well done to Anisimova as well. Got to give her a shout out, because a lot of people, after losing that Wimbledon final in that fashion, may have just disappeared and hidden in a cupboard somewhere, or just, who knows, just you were not the same again. She's come back. She beat Raducanu with ease in the last round. So it goes to show she's back playing good tennis again.
Yeah, Madison Keys is doing great too. She's knocking on the door, trying to come for Mira Andreeva in the top 5. A lot of Americans in that top 10. Madison Keys and Anisimova, the 2 players who we didn't really predict to do so well. I can't see them falling outside the top 10 now, especially with the US Open coming up.
Yeah, exciting stuff. If you are an American, it looks like Jess Pegula's suddenly been the one who's sort of now been losing a few more matches. Maybe she'll come good come the US Open again, though. Obviously, we've got Cincinnati and stuff. That's all going to be happening after the Canadian swing. But that's it. Let us know your favourite match that you've watched over this whole tournament in the comments section below. And anything left to add, JG?
No, we'll be doing some predictions very soon. Great to be back talking tennis again. We have still been talking, but not been recording. And we'll hopefully bring some more podcasts very soon. And hopefully Minaur doesn't let me down.
Well, now we've bigged him up. That's the GTL curse.
Well, I've got his racket just there. I'm looking at it right now. We've got the new Wilson racket, which Minaur's been using. And we're going to be doing a video on that very, very soon. So stay tuned on the channel.
There you go. You'll be able to beat anybody other than Jannik Sinner, Alcaraz or Djokovic there.
Probably not. All right, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.
See ya.